Welcome back to Open. You know what I'm about to say. Access to affordable, high-quality childcare is a critical issue for families in the Bronx and across New York City. In 2024, WHEDco was selected as one of 3 nonprofits to partner with the New York City Administration for Children's Services on the what they call C4, Childcare Community Connection Project, which is an initiative designed to help families navigate the often complicated child care system. Joining us to tell us more is WHEDco's Director of Home-Based Child Care Services. It's Elizabeth Ghunney. Nice to have you with us.
Hi, Gary.
And a Parent Enrollment Child Care Data Management person. It is Cynthia Rodriguez. Nice title for you, Cynthia, but we're so happy to have you.
Thank you for having us.
Elizabeth, let's just start with you. I'm going to just say what I think. If I hear one more time about we don't have enough child care for the children and the families in the Bronx and through the city and frankly through the nation, I think I'm going to scream. We've talked about it and talked about it. What are you doing and what is WHEDco doing to address this very serious issue?
Thank you, Gary. So at WHEDco, we believe and we know that childcare fuels opportunity. And as you know, a part of our work as WHEDco is to help bring the kinds of resources that thriving neighborhoods have to everyone, give them access to that. We know that access to childcare and to childcare businesses that thrive is one of that. So our home-based childcare program works to do just that. We have so many opportunities for men and women, New Yorkers, who want to build and grow, thrive in childcare. Our teams work to train them, to provide the support they need, and we coach them along the process. And as we'll talk about later, we also help parents access the childcare programs after they're built.
You know, you mentioned this whole idea of opportunity. Let's really just to lay the groundwork. If a family doesn't have the proper place for a young child to be, I mean, we realize school is one thing, but they may not be ready for school. You know, what do they do? That means maybe one parent has to stay home or they have to find somebody else to care for it. And then, of course, you want it to be a quality program so that the child is not just sitting there like this, and the child really ends up, you know, learning and growing as a toddler ought to do. So just talk a little bit about the importance of having this for families, and then we'll talk about some of the specifics with both you and Cynthia.
Yes, thank you, of course. Yes, we know that the child care workforce is the workforce that supports our workforce in general, right? Without a workforce that is caring for children in a safe environment, parents do not have the peace of mind to go out and look for work, to go to school. So our work is really supporting that workforce so that they are equipped to give parents that peace of mind. So our childcare providers understand, for instance, that there's a non-negotiable adherence to New York State standards for childcare. They understand what health and safety means, and they understand that they have to abide by that. We do the work to educate them and help them around compliance. We go the extra mile to help them understand that quality childcare also requires that the childcare providers are going through continuous professional growth, continuous education.
They themselves need
the education. So our training department is providing free classes for childcare providers to support them. Our coaches go into their homes to make sure that what we're teaching them in the classrooms are being implemented.
I'm smiling because you know, it's very easy to say, well, you know, go find a place that you can do it. But of course, if you're working with the people who are implementing the child care, that's of course a vital thing. Last question for you, and then we'll bring Cynthia into the conversation. You mentioned home-based. Just define what that means, then Cynthia is going to do like a C4 thing for us.
Okay, thank you, Gary. So we say home-based childcare. It encompasses all family childcare providers who are caring for children in their own homes. So these are childcare business owners, but they're working from their living rooms. They're working from their basements that have been converted into childcare spaces. They're working from their homes. However, they've gone through a rigorous licensing
Yeah,
process.
I was going to say, we can't have, kids just coming into places where you don't know what's going on.
No, that we know what's going on. New York City Department of Health knows what's going on and has licensed them to provide childcare. For a lot of parents, they are a great option because they're the next door neighbor that's right next to your home. They're the friend who lives down the hallway who you know and trust. But because it's a homey environment,
You got to make sure everything is up to standard. Cynthia, listen, my arithmetic when I got early childhood education said that if you have childcare community connection, that's 3 C's. How did we get C4?
Because it's the community child's care connection.
We're doing the 2 C's in
Yes,
childcare.
that is right.
But so what is this C4 connection, and why is it so important to WHEDco and to the people of the Bronx?
So the Community Childcare Connection Program is an initiative to expand access to childcare assistance, and therefore allowing parents to cover the cost of care. And
Cover the cost of care.
Yes. So
I'm putting an exclamation point on that.
we support families with the child care application assistance process, and we connect families to subsidized childcare, allowing families to pursue employment, education, stable housing, all while knowing that their children are in developmentally appropriate settings.
What's the process to get a family involved? I mean, there's always bureaucracy, there's always paperwork, but what does a family need to know? And somebody who's watching us right now, what do they need to know to get involved with C4?
So we have done outreach by going to where families go to. We have attended community events. We've gone to food pantries, shelters. We have done flyering at libraries, in the community's corner store, at laundromats, pediatrician offices.
What would we do without WHEDco? Go ahead, I'm sorry, because this is where we live, this is who we are, and they're right in there. I just love it so much.
Yes, and I think as a community-based organization with over 30 years in working with people in the community, there is a comfort that comes in working with us hand in hand, where families view us as a resource, and we are able to educate and advise families who may not have known that they were eligible for child care assistance.
One of the things that excites me about it is that this is in coordination with ACS,
Yes.
with the Administration for Children's Services. Talk about that collaboration and why it's important. Or is this in your
Sure.
bailiwick? Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Gary. So, application for childcare assistance, the process is one that's handled by ACS. But through the C4 project, it's actually a very innovative idea, which we have
That's
found.
why we brought it up. This is what
Yeah.
WHEDco, folks, if you don't know, WHEDco has been doing this for decades. So there you go. Go ahead.
I say innovative because for the first time, New York City is saying we're partnering with the community-based organizations to take on some of the work of helping parents access childcare assistance. And it's a great idea because who else would be best equipped to do it than the people who are on the ground with the families, the people who see them, who work with them.
Right.
These are our families. So we think it's been so successful because we've been doing it in our community.
How long has it been in place, this relationship?
Since
Yeah. I
June
think I just
2024.
No,
So
June,
just
yeah.
even so,
June,
it's relatively new.
Relatively new.
Which is what I was going to ask you, Cynthia. How large an operation is this at this point? And it sounds to me like, especially because you're here, this opportunity is there and you want people to know about it.
The opportunity is there, and we do want people to know about it. We have been able to help a little over 1,300 families.
1,300.
Yes, and we.
You know, people, I just have to tell you this. People throw out numbers. Do the count on your fingers and get up to 1,300. That's how many families are being served. It's just wonderful. Go ahead, I'm sorry. I had to interject.
And by doing this work, we are allowing families to be part of the fabric in their communities and to be able to be independent and provide that financial independence to their families while having their children in an appropriate daycare setting.
Can you just, before we run out of time, give me an example of somebody you know or somebody you've brought in and say, wow, this really worked out for them? I'm sure you know.
We have many
you have 1,300 examples.
We have many examples of families who come and are so thankful for the help and the assistance that we're able to provide for them because it allows them to move forward with looking for employment or being able to continue to be employed or being able to pursue a higher education.
I just think it's fantastic. Thank you so much. Elizabeth, just how do people get in touch with you? How do they find the program?
Oh, please go to our website,
There you go.
www.WHEDco.org.
Okay, and then you look for childcare and you could do C4, whatever. Listen, you guys are the best. You know how I feel about WHEDco and how BronxNet feels about WHEDco. Elizabeth Ghunney, thank you. Cynthia Rodriguez, thank you. And for more information, as we said, you can visit their website at WHEDco.org. Don't go away. We'll be back more open right after this.